Hi. As I'm filming this, it's 1 week away from scheduled launch of Silver Heels, my Pearson 424 catch for the summer season, and preparations have not gone smoothly. 2 weeks ago, I came to a realization, so let's watch. All right, I do want to talk about my batteries. Over the last couple of visits to Silver Heels, I have noticed that the batteries aren't keeping their charge. At first, I thought something was stealing the power from the batteries. I showed up one day and the batteries were at 12.2, which was really, really low. And one thing I have is a battery charger, right? Converting AC to DC and trickle charging the batteries. So I turned that on, and I've been doing that all season, really turning that on and keeping the batteries charged. And I usually come in and I see them at 12.6, which isn't great. 12.6 to be a full battery means that they're on end of life. And fair enough, they are at end of life. These things are 9 years old. So these Lifeline AGM batteries have lasted me forever. I got them from the original owner. They were 4.5 years old at that time. Now they are 9 to 10 years old. And that's a long life for these guys. Anyway, I was hoping to limp through the end of the season with these because it's expensive and it's time to convert to lithium. Lithium seems to be the go-to at this point. It looks like those batteries are not holding a charge anymore. So this battery gauge is telling me that right now they're at 12.52. You know, I did this yesterday. I came in this morning and they were back down to about 12.23. So I just don't think the batteries are holding a charge anymore. It's going to be time to replace them. It's not great timing. It's mid to late April, and I want to launch on May 10th. And I am in a boatyard that has limited resources, right? So to come at them now and say, can you repower my boat as just when they're at their busiest, they're basically launching all their boats. They're going to be very busy now for the next few weeks. And here comes a guy and says, hey, I didn't plan ahead and my batteries are dead. And we're talking about 6 batteries. I've got 525 amp hour batteries for the house battery. I've got one 125 amp hour battery for the starter battery for the engine. I should mention that, you know, I didn't talk about doing this myself. This is a job I could do myself. I enjoy doing stuff like this. I think I could figure it out and spend time, but there's some obstacles to that, especially with this timing. Each battery weighs about 75 pounds. So I could disconnect the whole system. I could start trying to figure out how I'm going to lift 75-pound batteries out of there. They're in there really packed tight like sardines. So getting that first one out will be the biggest challenge. It's going to be like, you know, a very tightly put together jigsaw puzzle that you have to undo one. Once the one comes out, everything else will be like easy. You just slide one out, then you get it out, and then you can slide everything else out. The first one's the most difficult one. And to get those out and then get myself schooled up on which battery system and, you know, the controllers and everything that works together, I think, you know, given that I am doing this part-time, that would take me about a month of Saturdays, maybe some Sundays too. So it would be no joke as far as a project, which I really don't have time for given the proximity of the season. I'm so close. It's April 20th. It gets launched May 10th. I just don't have time to do it myself. So I'm going to have to use the boatyard's resources for this. It's also very important, especially if talking about converting to lithium, to get the controllers right? Because if you overcharge the battery or you're pushing too many amps too quickly, you could create a fire danger. And lithium batteries, if you've seen in the news, like these lithium car batteries, once they go on fire, they don't go out. You know, you can't get a lithium battery fire out. So it's a big risk if a lithium battery catches fire. So you want to get those controllers right. No learning on the fly here for that, I think. It turned out that the boatyard did not have the resources to help me with this project. So I started looking to see if I could do this myself. And the more I researched, the more intrigued I got. And I felt like I could be up to this challenge to convert this entire DC system to a lithium battery bank. But I would have to delay my launch by at least a week. The first step would be removing the old batteries. Okay, so we are about 2 weeks from the scheduled splash of Silver Heels. I may have to push that back a week. It currently shows a good charge right now because we are on solar panel and we're outside, so the solar now is topping off these batteries. They look fully charged, they look great, but the problem is that they're not going to hold that charge, right? It's going to rely on the solar panel constantly feeding it, and as soon as it gets dark or whatever, if we're using energy, that won't hold up. So we've got new batteries. The lithium prices have come way down. I found that lithium batteries are a lot less expensive than they used to be. And I think what I thought at one time would be a $15,000 expense to replace the entire battery system is now probably under a budget of $3,000, which is phenomenal with new controllers and everything. But it's going to require time, which I don't have a lot of at the moment. I feel very stressed out. So we're going to do this, and I've got some help this weekend, which is phenomenal. Really appreciate Corey and Pat who are going to help me this weekend. But our first step now is to get these batteries out, and they are 75-pound batteries. It's going to be not fun. And they are wedged in there nice and tight because you can see they're packed in there like a sardines. They're really packed in tight. So we're going to try to maneuver those out. Step one is going to be removing all these cables. And the combined amp hour rating, if they're all 125 amp hour batteries, they're combined for a total of 625 because that's 5 batteries in that bank. I'm going to replace it with 4 lithium batteries that are 165 each. So I'll actually have more capacity than I started with at the end of this with lighter batteries, less space taken up. And then step 2 is going to be removing each of these batteries one by one. The first one's going to be the hardest. And I would say with boat projects, the thing is, boat projects are always, it's always a dumb, stupid thing that is the hardest part of the project. And for us, it's going to be extracting the first battery, right? Taking off these cables is going to be easy. Putting the cables back on will be a little harder and will require some thought and planning. But taking that first battery out of there is easily the thing I'm dreading the most and will probably be the most time-consuming and hard thing to do. And that's why I've got some help today, is to tackle that problem. All right, so getting the batteries out certainly has turned out to be hard. That block, we think, is the key. But, so what we did is we moved back and we decided to take all these screws out of the panel. The idea being to take the panel off. And as we're taking the panel off, lo and behold, it looks like this thing here is going to come out. That's going to give us more space. So we're excited. We think that that might do the job. All right, now with this block out right here, this whole battery is going to be able to get pulled straight up and out. So we're very excited. We think now we've got the keys to getting this thing out of here, though we probably took out a lot more screws on this panel than we need to that we're going to have to put back. But we're excited now. We've got a way forward. All right, so this has just pulled out. Is 75 pounds, which I didn't think I'd be able to pull out, but I did. Maybe it's 75 pounds. But nonetheless, it felt more like 50 to me, and that came out with one battery out. I think we're in really good shape. We're gonna get these batteries out of here. Phenomenal. Oh my God. This was what I was really worried about. And we've got some time yet on the clock, so I'm very optimistic we're going to get all these out. There we go. Nice. We got all of the batteries out of the battery compartment and into the cockpit. We used webbing straps to wrap around each battery and provide something to tie onto. We tied a double braid polyester line using a bowline to the webbing and then used the winch and lowered the batteries down to the ground one by one. As it stands today, most of the installation is complete. I'm currently connecting all the basic parts together. It's really almost just, it's just about done. In the next video, I'll be sharing all the costs, the time spent, pictures, and the wiring diagrams of this new system. I do want to apologize for not being able to film as much as I wanted to during this process. I was super stressed trying to basically do this in a couple weeks, and it was daunting. So unfortunately, I was not able to film it as much as I would have liked to show you step by step what it takes to get all this installed. But I'll go over it in ensuing videos here, and I look forward to sharing that with you. Until then, this is Sailor Eric. Thanks for watching.